What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. And maybe I had it all wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to that in a second. But I want to talk about a prime specific issue right now. And this is in regards to keeping your trailer locked, whether it be empty or loaded. Now, as far as I'm concerned, do what you want to do. But the issue that I have with this whole thing in regards to having a lock on your trailer isn't in regards to having a lock on your trailer. It's fostering an environment where people are getting rewarded for turning in other drivers if they see a driver without a lock on their trailer. Now, I'm not sure if it's gone that far or not, but one thing I can tell you is that right there is the beginning of the eroding of the prime culture. And I think back to when I was in the Marine Corps, and one of the worst things you could do in boot camp or the Marines in general is to go tattletale or snitch or whatever. I don't know if snitch was a word that was used back in those days, but one of the ways to definitely get yourself in trouble was to go and tell on somebody else, because in that environment, they realized that the culture is more than the actual crime, I guess you could say. And maybe it's not the same. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of money when it comes to that, but I can assure you, if this turns into like one of those situations where you have people telling on other people, that will be a problem at some point. Anyway, just wanted to get that kind of out of the way. And as a matter of fact, that's just not with Prime. I think I can remember back to my childhood, and either me or my stepbrother told on one of the others, and my stepdad wasn't really all that happy about that. I don't remember who was the one doing the snitching. It could have been me, could have been him, but he definitely looked down on that. So let's talk about how I think that I may have had it all wrong. I belong to Facebook groups, where I can just hear it, or people make videos about some of these different things. And one of the things that I've always said is you really don't have to have a business mind to be a lease operator at Prime, because they pretty much handle everything. You know what I'm saying? But some of the things people say make me realize that maybe I wasn't right about that. Because I just saw a post where somebody was complaining about, pulling the same load that they saw in the spot market or something like that for less money than was on the spot market. Now, to me, I didn't have to know anything about trucking. I didn't have to know anything about anything for me to realize why that would be a point. And I look back at my mortgage days, you know what I'm saying? For example, how this would play out in a different industry, banking, mortgages, whatever. You could have a bank, let's say that bank be Wells Fargo or US Bank or any of these major banks. They could be offering rates at their bank at, let's just use a hypothetical number, at 6%. Now, me as a broker or whatever, I could go through US Bank or Wells Fargo at a lower rate than what they're actually offering their own people. I've done loans where people have worked at Wells Fargo and I was able to get them a lower rate through my company than they would have been able to go through Wells Fargo even as an employee. And part of the reason is Wells Fargo, US Bank, whatever, may need to satisfy X amount of number of loans, whether that be for a quarter, a month. It could be at the branch level. It could be at the macro level, but they might have a certain amount of loans that need to get funded. They're not able to do that all on their own at the branch level. So what they do is they offer those rates and, I guess you could say, profits out to other people that will send those loans back through their bank, if that makes sense. So that's one thing. The other thing I want to talk about, and this isn't necessarily a business thing as far as trucking goes, but maybe a Prime specific thing, or any company that deals with a fuel surcharge. You have people at Prime that are complaining about, what the fuel rates are and things like that. And what that says to me is they aren't really taking the job, or they're not necessarily treating the job as a business, where they actually took the time to either attend the ACE 2 class where they can understand how when fuel rates go up, we actually might be on the better end of that. Or they just don't care to listen while they're in this class. And I don't know if that's necessarily, when I say I'm not sure if you necessarily needed to have a business background to understand this stuff. Maybe I was wrong about that. And maybe it's not a business background as far as actual business goes, but a business mindset when it comes to just how you look at things on a day-to-day basis. And this could be, let's say that you're on the spot market or you're going through Prime or Swift or whoever, and the rates start to drop. At some point, they can only drop so far. And like I mentioned in other videos, there are people in other businesses, and I would even look at it the same way in the trucking business, where they actually look for things like this to happen because it's almost like a cleansing of the market. It gets rid of those people that weren't necessarily prepared or maybe just shouldn't have been in that business in the first place. So if you are somebody that looks at things from a week to week basis, or like I said, we're not really even a month into these bad fuel prices yet, and people are already starting to stress out about it. Markets will always correct themselves. Okay, and and I'm not even gonna say I'm a businessman or business. I would say that I look at things in a business way. But the first thing I looked at when I thought that the market was slowing down, when this pandemic started, was if rates are going to go down, which I don't even think that they did. But the first thing I did when people were complaining about the stock market go down, that's when I went in. If fuel prices are up, there is somewhere out there where you can make money based on the fuel prices being where they're at, that's outside of trucking. So I try not to limit myself to just trucking. I try to look at everything, I guess you could say, in a macro sense. So, and I haven't done this because I've been just relaxing too hard lately. But if fuel prices are up, there's a way for somebody out there to make some money on that. Rather than complaining about it and doing all that stuff and putting stickers on, fuel pumps and stuff like that, why don't you, invest all that time in trying to find out how you can make money on the rising cost of fuel. So maybe I was wrong in saying that, you really don't have to be business minded to get into this. And maybe I need to change my thoughts on that, because I'm just seeing too much stuff come up to where things are just so obvious to like me coming out of a totally different market that I've just been kind of, let me use an old word, I've been just flabbergasted at some of the statements and things that I've been seeing. And that could be within Prime or just in the trucking industry in general. So, you have to look at things a little bit bigger than what a specific week is or a specific moment in time is. You have to extrapolate that out long term. I look at the situation I have with the other truck that I have on the road. There were at least a couple loads that truck had ran that I actually lost money on. Now, if I just looked at those loads individually, or just, possibly turn those loads down on my, turn those loads down, that would be short-term thinking, because it's not all about me. Sometimes you have to take a loss to satisfy the people that you're working, that you have possibly working for you. So I never just looked at each individual trip or complain if a truck's losing money this particular week, because everything is going to average out. You know what I'm saying? And people that can't look at things on a bigger scale than this are going to have problems. And it could be emotional problems where you always put yourself, people that are negative about stuff like this tend to always be negative. And those people that are always negative seem to dig themselves into a hole deeper and deeper and deeper, whether that be mentally, financially, or even just the operation of their truck or their finances in general. So, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you do need to have a little bit of a business mindset. You don't have to know business in general. You have to have a business mindset and understand that every day is not going to be sunshine. You know what I'm saying? And back to another thing. You do not want the market to stay even all the time. Money is never made in a static market. Money is made through the ups and downs. If everything was just a static market, nothing would go up or go down. So anyway, enough about that. I just wanted to throw that out there right quick because I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there that leads me to believe that maybe people aren't understanding, the macroeconomics of this business. Anyway, that's about it. I'm over here working on my taxes, trying to get this stuff all done, and it's the last thing I want to be working on right now, but that is one of the downfalls of being an independent contractor, especially when you start throwing on rental properties and outside income and, some other stuff. So I'm just trying to get this stuff done before I get back out on the road, at least get them enough to start with. And then maybe I get have them give me an amount to pay and then file an extension on my taxes. I'm not sure. But anyway, enough about that. Hey, let's talk about what I'm going to start doing. Maybe it's just the little things to help bring back the camaraderie with with what's going on in Prime. But I was like, you know what, let me just spend a little bit of money. And I mean, it is just a little bit of money, but if you happen to go and pick up a trailer and you look in your right way and you happen to see some little air freshener trees, I just went and got a whole bunch of different scents and stuff like that. I'm just going to start leaving them in there, just a little surprise for people when they pick up a trailer. It's really nothing much, but I thought it was kind of cute when I opened up my WHILYV thing and I saw a little bitty toy in there, whatever it was. Just made me chuckle. So if I could help somebody chuckle, hey, it's all worth it. Anyway, I also had to get a couple more pair of sunglasses. The ones that I have are sometimes a little bit too dark for me when I'm driving, or a little bit darker than I'd like. So what I'm gonna do is next time I run through the terminal, I might, give those away. I have a dash cam that I might be giving away next time I'm run through the terminal. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna load up my truck with some air fryers and all that kind of stuff, but I had multiple companies send me air fryers and things like that when I was really grinding on my cooking channel. So I got some of those things that I may at some point give away as well. But let's try to bring back this camaraderie at Prime. I'm starting to see it. If you're part of these Prime Facebook groups, I know that you can see that there's an eroding of the culture at Prime with just how many, posts are made about these locks on trailers and stuff like that. And I'm going to try my part to at least help the best I can with the camaraderie at Prime. Anyway, enough about that. I want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.